All right, so today I'm going to show y'all how I like to make my pork and shrimp wontons. I'm then going to take those wontons and then turn it into a red curry paste soup, which I have been looking forward to trying for quite some time now. I've been seeing some people do this online, like maybe 6 or 7 months ago, and I was like, you know what, I need to just go on ahead and do it. And for those of you that don't know, I actually took some dumpling classes when I was living in New York back in 2014, so I'm actually really excited to kind of share with you guys what I learned when I was living in the city. So let me show you what I got. I have 8 ounces of mild pork. This is not sweet. It's not Italian style. There's no flavor to it. It's just a mild pork. I have enough garlic cloves here that's going to mince down to about 2 tablespoons worth. I have about a half a pound of some large shrimp that have been deveined from the front and the back side. Of course, my wonton wrappers. A half a cup of some minced onion. The vegetable I'm going to be using in the soup today is going to be broccolini, but you can use baby bok choy. You can use whatever you would like. I have green onion, red curry paste. I like to use the mapoy. I have some coconut milk, lemongrass paste, ginger paste, pure sesame oil, less sodium soy sauce, Shaoxing cooking wine, and MSG. You see that? You see that? You see that? Don't ask me for the damn ingredient list. Come on, child. Okay, so first things first, we want to go on ahead and break down our shrimp. Now, you can choose to do this in a food processor if you would like, but just don't break it down so much so that it's liquefied. I just find that it's easier to just get yourself 2 knives that are super sharp and then just chop it up so that it's nice and fine. And this is what you want your shrimp to look like. Nice still, it still has some texture to it and it's not liquefied, okay? So if you do it in a food processor, just remember, do not liquefy it. Okay, so now in a large bowl, we're going to add in our ground pork, and I'm going to gently break this up. Now, if you guys did not know, when you're making something like a gyoza or a dumpling or really anything, whether you're making burgers, any of those type of things, when you overwork the meat mixture itself, what you're doing is you're changing the proteins. You're overworking the proteins, and it's going to make it tougher and tougher and tougher. So we actually want to make sure that we're not over mixing this at all. So I've slightly broken up the pork. I'm now going to go ahead and add in my shrimp, like so. And you can add less shrimp if you would like. I like to have a lot of shrimp in mind. That's just a personal thing. We are now going to add in 1 teaspoon of the lemongrass paste. I just think that this adds such amazing flavor to the dumpling itself. It is one of my favorite things to use. And for the minced ginger, I'm also going to use 1 teaspoon. You can use more, you can use less. It's completely up to you. But for this amount, this always turns out to be perfect. Next up, we're going to go in and mince up our garlic. And you guys know that I always love to remove the tips off of the garlic. I don't know why. It's just a matter of habit for me. But mince all of that down so that you end up with about 2 tablespoons. Please do not use the jarred stuff. Not for this. How many of you guys have ever had Thai red curry before? It is absolutely delicious. When I was living in New York City, I was going to Thai restaurants, it seems like almost every night after my shows. And Thai red curry was one of my favorite things that I became obsessed with. So I'm super excited to be sharing this recipe with y'all today. And I just want you guys to pay attention. You see how small and how minced down the garlic is? That's what you want. You do not want any big chunks, or you're going to bite down into it in your wonton, and that's just not going to be pleasant. Now, inside of the wonton itself, I'm only going to be using 1 green onion. As you can see, this is a relatively large one, and I'm not going to be using the whites. I'm only going to be using the green, and I'm going to mince that down really small and fine as well. We can now go on ahead and add in the garlic and the green onion. I will be adding in 1 tablespoon of the less sodium soy sauce directly in. 1/4 of a teaspoon of the pure sesame oil, right in. And 1 teaspoon of the Shaoxing wine, directly in. And a half a teaspoon of the MSG, which is optional, but you'll want it in there. Now we're going to very gently go in and we're just going to give this a very gentle mix. Once I can see that everything is fully incorporated, I'm going to stop mixing. Again, you do not want to overwork the protein in the pork or your dumplings are going to come out really tough. Now the meat mixture is nicely done. I'm going to put the lid on this and place this in the refrigerator and allow this to marinate for about 30 minutes. All right, so we are about to begin building our wonton. So you want to go on ahead and take out your mixture. This has been marinating. Have yourself a little bowl of water. Of course, your wonton wraps. And then, of course, a tray of some kind that you can place the finished wontons on. Alrighty, so for the wontons for this recipe, I'm not doing anything fancy at all. I am literally just folding them like regular old school wontons. As you guys can see here, I have a lot of them already all done. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do this. But what I wanted to point out is as you guys are doing it, just make sure that you have a damp paper towel over the top of it so that they don't dry out. So let me show you what you're going to do. You need to get yourself a little bowl of water. You're going to take your wonton wrapper. Make sure that your hands are dry. You don't want the whole surface of this to be soaking wet or it's going to become a nasty mess. You want to wet just the edges like so. The key to making a good wonton, especially if you're using one with filling like this, where you need to definitely make sure that everything is fully cooked through, is to make sure that you do not put too much filling. I'm using less than about a teaspoon worth, as you can see. I'm then literally just going to fold it over to the side like that, and then just pinch it down. Now, this is the thing. After you close it down, instead of just leaving it as this like ball of meat, what I like to do is I like to gently flatten it out with my fingers. I would gently just flatten it out. Just make sure that the edges are still nice and closed. This is going to make sure that the filling cooks nice and evenly. And so then you have it just like that. And then I just add it to the tray like so. And I'm going to go on ahead and repeat this process. Now, clearly, I'm not about to cook all of these, but the good thing about making these type of wontons, what you can do is you can place this in the freezer. Once they are nice and solid, you can then transfer them over to a Ziploc bag, and then you can have them whenever you want. You can use them in soups, you can freeze them, you can put them in an air fryer, do whatever you want. But I make a large batch of them because this is actually going to last me quite a long time, because when I have it in a bowl of soup, I'm only going to put maybe 3 or 4 wontons in at a time. So, alrighty, y'all. So once our water comes up to a boil, we're going to add in the broccolini and our dumplings. Now, in most cases, you guys know I would usually say to salt the water, but in this case, do not add any salt. Let that come up to a boil. All right, y'all, now that our water is starting to come up to a boil, like I said, you can add in the broccoli and your wontons all in the same pot. Set a timer for 10 minutes and these will be fully cooked. You don't need to mix it, don't stir it, just let it be. While your dumplings are cooking, let's go on ahead and let's get our curry sauce together. I'm going in with a little, maybe about a teaspoon or so of some avocado oil. And then I'm going to add in my half a cup of my minced onion and break that down. And just as a reminder, I will be using coconut milk that is unsweetened, okay? And I will be using 1/3 of a cup of the red curry paste. Now that I have some nice color on my onions, I'm gonna go in with my curry paste. And I'm gonna allow this to kind of toast up for just like a minute or so, but make sure you keep mixing it around. This is really gonna waken up those, all of that curry flavor. In this measuring cup, I put in 1 tablespoon of the chicken better than bouillon and about 1.5 cups of water. I'm going to add that directly to the pot. And give all of this a good mix. I am now going to add in the full can of the coconut milk. Give that a mix as well. My God. I'm going to add in a pinch of coarse kosher salt. And I'm also going to add in the juice from 1 lime. All right, y'all, my sauce is looking absolutely fantastic. I tasted it for additional salt, which it really only just needed just that little bit. Now, let's go on ahead and pour it over those dumplings. So now that my broccolini is all done, we can go on ahead and lay that directly in the bowl. We're going to put that all in. Just like so. And then I'm carefully going to remove the wontons. Let a little bit of that water drain off. And then place those beauties directly into the bowl as well. They are cooked to perfection. Oh my God, I don't think you guys understand. It smells incredible. Now we can go ahead and pour in that delicious curry sauce. Look at the color. Look at the color. My God. Top it off with just a little bit of green onion right there in the center. And that there, my friends, is how I made my homemade wontons with some red curry. Let's go in for a taste test try. All right, y'all, let's go in for a taste test, shall we? Ooh, I am excited. Okay, here we go. Bruh. Ooh, this is